This story goes back to when I was about 7 or 8 years old. We lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Texas. Our house was one of those older ones, built in the 1970s. Single-story brick, long hallway, creaky wooden floors. Doors that never quite closed, flush without a little push. Nothing fancy, but it felt lived in and safe. My sister was 5 at the time. We shared a bedroom at the end of the hall. Mom was usually home in the afternoons. She sewed or cooked in the kitchen. Dad worked late, so it was mostly the 3 of us during the day. That particular afternoon was ordinary, sunny and warm. Typical Texas spring day. The AC hummed softly. Flies buzzed against the screens. My sister and I were on the floor playing with toys, plastic dinosaurs, building a fort out of blankets and pillows. The bedroom door was half open. Light came in from the hallway. We could hear Mom's sewing machine whirring in the next room. Steady rhythm, like a heartbeat. Everything felt normal, cozy even. But looking back, there were little things leading up to it. Over the previous week or so, I'd noticed odd moments. A door closing softly when no one was near. Footsteps in the hallway when the house was empty. A cold spot on the carpet that moved. I was a kid, so I shrugged them off. Old house, imagination, whatever. My sister never mentioned anything, but she was quieter than usual those days. Then it happened. We were mid-game, laughing about a T-Rex knocking over a Lego tower. We heard it, a slow creak. The bedroom door moving. Not slamming, not wind. Just opening wider inch by inch, like someone pushing it gently from the other side. We both froze, looked up at the same time, expecting Mom coming to check on us or maybe Dad home early. But no one was there. Instead, a shape filled the doorway. Completely black, solid black. No edges blurred by light, no highlights, no reflections. Just an absence of everything. Shaped like a person but wrong in every way. Too tall. Had to duck slightly under the frame. Arms hanging longer than any humans should. Head tilted forward a bit, like curious. No face, no eyes, no mouth. Just void where features should be. The room changed instantly. Air got heavier, colder, like someone opened a freezer door right in front of us. My skin prickled. My sister's toys slipped from her hands. We stared, couldn't move, couldn't speak. It stood there, motionless, for what felt like forever. Maybe 3 or 4 seconds, but time stretched. I remember thinking, this isn't right, this can't be here. Then, with the same deliberate slowness, it reached out. A long arm extended. Fingers? Not really. More like extensions of the darkness itself. It grasped the doorknob from the inside. Turned it. Pulled the door closed. Click, latch engaged. Gone. The door was shut. We were alone again. Silence, thick silence. My sister whispered first. "Did you see that?" I nodded, voice gone. We sat there another minute, staring at the closed door. Then panic hit. We scrambled up, ran to the kitchen, burst in on Mom. "Mom, there was something in our room, it closed the door." She turned from the sewing machine. Needle paused. "What? Slow down." We told her everything, word for word, the same details. The black shape, the height, the arm reaching, the door closing itself. Mom listened, face pale. She went to our room, opened the door, checked inside. Under bed, closet, windows locked, nothing. She said, "Maybe a draft, or you two imagined it together." But her voice shook a little, and she kept the door open wider after that. We never played in that room the same way again, but the memory stuck perfectly, identically. My sister and I, years later, adults now, can recount it exactly the same. Down to the tilt of the head, the cold air, the click of the latch. No contradictions, no fading details. We tried explaining it over the years. Sleep paralysis, but we were awake. Playing. Afternoon sunbright. Shared hallucination. Kids don't usually share vivid ones like that. Optical illusion from light. But the door physically moved. We tested it later. Pushed it closed ourselves, needed real force. No draft that day. It wasn't a ghost in the classic sense. No translucent figure, no tragic backstory, no message or plea. It was just there. A thing that interacted with our world. Pushed a door, closed it, then vanished. No sound beyond the creak and click. No intent we could read. Just presence, observation, then departure. Sometimes I think about what it wanted. Was it curious about 2 kids playing? Was it marking territory? Or was it just passing through? A glitch in reality? A visitor from somewhere else? Something that slips in when the veil is thin? We moved out years later, new house, no more incidents. But every time I hear a door creak on its own, or feel a sudden cold spot, I remember that afternoon. The black shape in the doorway. reaching out, closing us in. And I wonder, what else is out there, watching from the edges, waiting for a door to open, just enough. This story takes me back to when I was around 10 years old. We lived in a very rural part of Oregon. Wide open fields of tall grass and wheat, thick pine woods starting right behind our backyard. Dirt roads that stretched for miles with almost no traffic. No streetlights at all. No close neighbors. The nearest house was half a mile away down a gravel lane. At night, the sky was huge. Millions of stars, no light pollution. Coyotes howled far off sometimes. Owls called from the trees. Our house was a modest 2-story farmhouse, white siding, wraparound porch, built sometime in the 1940s. My bedroom was on the second floor. One window faced the front yard and road. The other looked straight out at the backyard, the big oak tree, and the dark tree line where the woods began. During the day, I loved it. I'd climb that oak, ride my bike up and down the dirt road, chase fireflies when dusk came. But at night, the darkness felt alive. Thicker, like it pressed against the windows, like it was waiting for something. For about 2 weeks before the main event, things felt off. Not scary at first, just wrong. I'd wake up in the middle of the night for no reason, heart already racing, no dream I could remember. Just sudden alertness, like someone whispered my name from across the room. The air in my bedroom would turn heavy, hard to pull into my lungs, like the oxygen was thinner. Sometimes I'd hear faint rustling right outside the window. Dry leaves or grass, but there was no wind. No breeze moving the curtains. Once or twice I smelled something odd. Not smoke, not animals. More like old damp earth mixed with ozone, like right after lightning, but no storm. I told myself it was just summer. Heat. Imagination. Kids make up stories, but I started sleeping with my blanket pulled high. Window only cracked an inch for air. Curtains drawn as tight as possible. Even then, I'd lie there listening, waiting for the next rustle, the next cold pocket in the air. Then came the night that changed everything. It was a warm, still summer night. No moon, just stars, bright and sharp. I woke up suddenly around midnight. No gradual stirring. Eyes snapped open, body tense, wide awake in an instant. No dream. No noise that I could name, just a pull. Like something outside wanted me to look. I sat up slowly, heart thumping loud in my ears. The room was dark except for faint starlight leaking around the curtain edges. I pushed the curtain aside just a few inches, peered out at the backyard. There they were. 3 figures standing in the grass about 30 feet from the house. Impossibly tall. 12 feet at least, maybe 14. Their heads were level with or above my second-floor window. Black silhouettes against the starfield. No details, no reflections. No variation in shade, just pure, absorbing darkness. They wore what looked like old top hats, wide brims drooping slightly, long coats or robes that reached the ground. Arms hung straight down, too long, past their knees. Fingers, if they had any, were just extensions of the shadow. No faces, no eyes, no mouth, just void where a head should be. They stood perfectly still. No swaying, no breathing motion, no shift of weight. I couldn't look away. My breath caught, chest tight, cold sweat on my back even though the night was warm. Then one of them moved, not a normal step, jerky, like old film skipping frames. Lift one leg slowly, hold, drop it down silently, pause. Then the other leg, same unnatural rhythm. No sound on the grass, no crunch, no swish. Just silent mechanical motion. Stop motion in real life. The other 2 followed, same jerky pattern. They didn't walk in a straight line. They moved in small arcs, circling slowly toward the house, pausing every few steps, heads tilting slightly, like listening or scanning. They turned their heads, slow, grinding rotation toward my window. No eyes, but the pressure hit me like a physical force, deep in my chest, like being pressed on, like being seen through. My legs went weak. I gripped the windowsill to stay upright. One of them, the tallest, raised an arm, long, elbow bending at an angle that shouldn't be possible. It pointed directly at me. The gesture was slow, deliberate, no hurry. Just acknowledgement. I dropped the curtain like it burned me. Dived under the covers, pulled them over my head completely. Curled into a ball, shaking, breathing shallow. Listened. No footsteps, no rustling closer. No knock on the window. Just silence, thick, oppressive. I stayed like that for what felt like forever. Eventually, I peeked out again. The backyard was empty. Grass still, stars unchanged. No footprints, no bent blades, nothing. I didn't sleep again that night. Morning came. Sun rose. Birds sang. World bright and ordinary. I told my parents over breakfast, voice shaking. They listened. Dad checked the yard, walked the tree line, nothing unusual. Probably a bad dream, kiddo. Or shadows from the trees in moonlight. But I knew. I was wide awake. Saw every jerky step. Felt the pointing arm like it was aimed at my heart. A few weeks later, I talked to Tommy, the neighbor kid down the road. Same age. We rode bikes together sometimes. I told him quietly, expecting him to laugh. He didn't. His face went pale. I saw something too, he whispered. Tall shadows in the field behind our houses. Same hats. Same weird walk. Like robots or something. He said they stood for a long time watching the houses, then vanished. No trace. We never told anyone else, too scared of sounding crazy. They didn't appear again. Not clearly. Not standing in the grass. But the feeling lingered. Some nights cold spots near my window. Rustling outside when no wind. Pressure in my chest. Like being watched from far away. I'd check the curtain, peek, nothing. But I knew they were out there checking. Maybe waiting to see if I'd look again. As I grew up, I tried to rationalize it. Nightmares from too many scary stories, but shared with Tommy. Exact same description. Hoax by older kids, no one around, no tracks. Optical illusion from moonlight on dead trees. But movement jerky, proportions impossible. Arm pointing deliberate. Folklore? Hat man legends are tall, dark figures, but usually indoors wearing fedoras associated with sleep paralysis. This was outside, wide awake, no paralysis, no fear paralysis, just raw, deep dread. What were they? Not ghost, no history, no tragedy, no message. Not aliens, no lights, no sound, no abduction attempt. Not demons, no temptation, no harm, no evil laugh. Just tall, wrong, jerky. Existing in our world for a brief time. Observing two kids' houses. Pointing at me. Then leaving without a trace. I moved away for college, live in a city now. Streetlights, noise, people. But every summer, when nights are warm, crickets loud, air still, I feel it. That pressure. I check windows more than I should. Because if they were real, they didn't attack, didn't speak. They just were. Tall, silent, moving in ways nothing human moves, watching from the dark edges of fields and woods. And maybe still out there, somewhere, waiting to see if I'll look again. This story is from spring 2025. I was 28 then, living in a small town in western North Carolina, right where the Appalachian foothills begin. My daily life was simple and quiet. I worked remotely as a graphic designer, mostly alone at home, staring at laptop screens for 8 to 10 hours a day. Freelance gigs came and went. Deadlines, client revisions, coffee, rinse and repeat. To balance all that screen time, I hiked. A lot, almost every weekend. Alone. No earbuds, no podcasts, no distractions. Just boots on dirt, wind through trees, my own breathing, and thoughts that had nowhere else to go. The area had endless trails. Marked ones in state parks, unmarked old logging roads, faint paths locals knew. Thick pine stands, oak groves, rhododendron tunnels, small creeks, ridges with long views. I'd drive 20-30 minutes, park at a gravel pull-off, shoulder a light pack with water and a snack, and disappear into the woods for 4-6 hours. Find a log or rock to sit on. Watch light shift through canopy. Listen to birds. Feel small in a good way. That particular Saturday felt perfect for it. Clear blue sky. Temperature in the mid-70s. Light breeze. Wildflowers. Trillium. Violets. Mountain laurel. Blooming along edges. Air smelled clean. Pine sap, damp soil from yesterday's rain, faint sweetness of blossoms. I parked at my favorite pull-off on a Forest Service road. Locked the car, started walking. The trail was familiar. Gentle incline at first, then switchbacks through dense trees. Sunlight dappled the path. Birds called, squirrels chattered. Everything normal, peaceful. About 2 hours in, around 3 o'clock, I felt it start. Gradual, not sudden, like a cloud slowly covering the sun. First just mild unease, like eyes on my back. I glanced over my shoulder, empty trail, no one. Kept walking. Then deeper, stomach twist, heart rate up without reason. Breathing felt harder, air thicker. Skin prickled. Goosebumps despite warm day. The forest didn't change visually. Birds still sang, wind still moved leaves. But everything felt aware, watching, hostile, like the trees had turned inward. Like the air itself had intent. I stopped, listened, looked around carefully. Nothing visible, no movement, no tracks, no eyes in shadows. But the dread built, layer by layer, pressure in my chest like being squeezed. I told myself dehydration, low blood sugar, tired legs, overthinking. Turned back, started hiking out faster. The feeling followed. Not footsteps behind, not a shadow chasing. Just presence all around. In the spaces between trees, in the air I breathed. Every 10 steps I glanced back. Empty path. But it was there, closer, patient, silent, relentless. By the time I reached the car, hands shaking, pulse hammering, I felt exhausted. Like I'd run the whole way. Locked doors, started engine, drove. Windows up, AC high, radio loud. The dread eased with distance, but didn't vanish. It settled, deep inside, like something had quietly attached, and decided to come along. That night, first real sign at home. My apartment was second floor, one bedroom. Living room window facing a small wooded strip behind the building. Around 11 p.m., I was on the couch, tired from the hike, scrolling phone. Scratching began. Soft, slow on the window glass. Like fingernails tracing circles, deliberate, patient. I froze, muted TV, listened. It continued 30 seconds, stopped when I stood up, walked to window, peeked through blinds. Nothing. Dark trees, streetlight glow. No branch touching glass, no animal visible. Told myself wind, squirrel. Imagination after the weird hike. But heart wouldn't calm. Skin stayed prickled. Next night, same time, scratching again. This time, footsteps. Soft, heavy on the balcony right outside. Pacing. Slow. Back and forth. I stayed still. Breath shallow. Footsteps stopped. Directly in front of glass. Then cold, sudden. Temperature dropped sharply. Breath fogged in front of me. I felt it watching. Through curtain, through glass. No outline, no breath fog on outside. Just heavy presence, patient, unmoving. It stayed 8-10 minutes. Then footsteps retreated, downstairs, fading. Gone. It escalated slowly over the next weeks and months. Cold spots appeared in corners, moved. Followed me room to room. Objects shifted. Keys on kitchen table moved to floor. Bookmarks changed pages overnight. Lamp turned off when I left room. Whispers started. Low. Indistinct at first. From vents. From underbed. From hallway. Gradually clearer, not words exactly, but tone, curious, possessive, almost pleased. One night, bed shook. Gently, like weight settling on edge. I opened eyes, nothing in dark. Blanket pulled, slowly, inch by inch, off my legs. I grabbed it, yanked back. Resistance, real, stronger than I expected. I shouted, "Stop, get off me!" It released, sudden, room silent. But cold stayed till morning. Blanket cold to touch. I set up phone camera, night mode. Pointed at bed and door. Multiple nights, footage captured anomalies. One clip, 2:13 a.m. Door creaks open 4 inches. No hand. No push visible. Tall, thin shadow enters frame. No clear edges. Stands at foot of bed, motionless, watches me sleep. 4 minutes, 17 seconds. Then leans forward slowly, closer to my face. No breath visible, no sound on audio. Then retreats, door closes itself. Gone. Another night, audio only, no video. Whisper clearer, low, raspy. I hear. A state. A mine. Not angry, not threatening. Just stating, like fact. I showed a close friend. He watched clips in silence, face drained. That's not a person, that's not even normal. It followed you from the woods. We tried remedies. Burned sage bundles, every corner. Drew salt lines at doors and windows. Prayed. Even had a local sensitive woman come over. She walked the apartment. Paused, said, "It's not evil. It's attached. Curious. It latched when you entered its space in the forest. It doesn't want to hurt. It wants to be near." She did a cleansing, herbs, chanting. It quieted for 3 days. Then returned, stronger, scratching louder, cold deeper. I researched obsessively. Nights on forums, Reddit, books. Skinwalker? But no shape-shifting, no animal sounds, no smell of decay. Wendigo? No cannibal hunger, no wind howl, no emaciation. Interdimensional hitchhiker? Something that attaches when you cross a threshold. Genius Loshi? Spirit of place, but it followed home. No exact match, no clear lore, just pursuit. Unseen. Unexplainable. Existential dread that never quite leaves. I moved apartments 3 months later. Different side of town, concrete building, busy road, no woods within half-mile. Feeling faded slowly over weeks. Cold spots rare, scratching gone, whispers silent. But not completely. Quiet nights, still sometimes pressure in chest. Cold draft near window when no AC. Faint whisper on edge of hearing. Like it's checking in. Still patient? Still there? What was it? Not a ghost, no personal history, no unfinished business. Not a demon, no temptation, no harm, no fear tactics. Just awareness. That noticed me in the forest. Followed quietly. Attached. And decided to stay. Because it could. Because I felt it first, and now it knows I know. I don't hike alone anymore. Don't go deep into woods after noon. Avoid trails near dusk. But sometimes when night is very still, air quiet, no sound, I feel it again. Faint pressure. Cold spot. Whisper I almost hear. Like it's waiting. Not angry. Not hungry. Just present. Patient. Following. Until I acknowledge it again. Or until I stop looking over my shoulder. And that unknown, that thing I can't name, can't see, can't fight. That's what scares me most. It didn't want to hurt me. It just wanted to be near. And it still is.